What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Killer Shrew Fans Killer Toy Reviews. I am very excited to be doing yet another non-Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy review for you today. Today we are going to be looking at the last new for 2018 Papo figure that I intend to get for a while. Today we will be looking at this guy, the new for 2018 Papo Iguanodon. I am so incredibly excited to review this figure for you guys today because just looking at him through the bag gets me so incredibly excited because he looks fantastic. I cannot wait to give you guys a closer look. So without further ado, we are going to do everyone's favorite thing, and that is unbag this dinosaur, and then we are going to give you a closer look at him. So without further ado, let's do this. Nothing too extreme here. He's just kind of rolled up, got a piece of tape holding him in. We just tear that, unfurl it, and out comes our Iguanodon. And as you can see, he did have a piece of cardboard to keep his tail from getting damaged or warped during transit, which is always nice to see. And then to help reinforce him, you've got a plastic tray custom fit to his stance, and that just keeps those legs in place during shipping. So it's all done to keep our dinosaur nice and safe, and I think that is so nice that Papo cares enough to do that for us. So without further ado, there is our Iguanodon free of that plastic prison, and my goodness, what a beauty this is. Wow. I just gotta take this in. This is absolutely incredible. Now, for those of you with a keen eye, you may recognize this dinosaur from the movie Dinosaur, and that was obviously what inspired my whole opening scene there. Could have been done better probably, but by God, I went for it. And, you know, I actually just worked with a guy who actually worked on this movie, which, you know, is kind of cool. Small world. But yes, this dinosaur, this Iguanodon, looks like the main character Aladar from that movie. So once again, we can see Papo kind of pulling from cinematic dinosaur tales in order to get inspiration for their dinosaur figures, which, I don't know, I'm a fan of. You know, people out there who are more into accuracy are not such a huge fan of that, but it doesn't bother me. I love seeing my favorite dinosaurs from screen be translated into some awesome toys like this. So I am definitely not complaining. So without further ado, we are going to give you guys a closer look at this Iguanodon, starting off, as we always do, at that head. So taking a look at the head here, as you can see, Papo have not skimped on the detail, and they continue to live up to the standards that they have set for themselves and that we as fans have come to expect from them. Every single area of this head has been addressed and attended to with scales of varying sizes and shapes, and this Iguanodon is unique in that it is Papo's first herbivorous dinosaur with an articulated jaw, and as you can see, it opens up none too wide there, and if you go too far you get an ugly breaking point, but then it kind of just closes in on itself to a point. Like, if you open it wide, you get that ugly seam, or ugly area where the plastic doesn't meet, but then it just kind of corrects itself and closes up to a point where it feels comfortable. And unfortunately, this comes at a detriment to the overall head sculpt because you have got this very unattractive seam line going across the upper jaw, covering the lower mandible. And I'm no engineer, but I feel like there might have been a better way to do this without giving us such a garish looking seam in that mouth region. But as you can see, it's not really even worth it. You know, I mean, it just kind of closes in on itself and you don't really get the full effect. But if we take a look inside the mouth, you can see that Papo have sculpted the hundreds, well, probably not hundreds, but it's meant to represent the hundreds of grinding teeth that dinosaurs like Iguanodon had, and there you can get a good look at the tongue, and it goes all the way back to the throat there. It looks nice and seated in the mouth, and then we come back to the head itself. And if we move down the body, you can see all of the lovely scales and striations and wrinkles that Papo have covered this Iguanodon with. It's just gorgeous stuff here. Once we get to the midsection, you can see the scapula pressed up against the flesh there. A little bit of shrink wrapping there
but the detail on this Iguanodon really makes up for it. I mean, look, you've got veins, you've got folds of skin, you've got scales, you've got everything you could possibly want and expect out of a Papo figure. It is just beautiful stuff. Not a single area has been left unattended to, and it is just all so beautiful to look at. This is definitely one of Papo's better sculpted models this year, I feel like, in terms of the overall amount of detail that they have crammed into it. This one is certainly one to impress, and as you can see, it goes all the way down to the tip of the tail, moving back up the opposite side. It's the exact same story in terms of the overall aesthetic, with the wrinkles, folds of skin, scales, veins, everything on the other side is also on this side. Papo do not skimp out when it comes to detail. I mean, I've said that 100 times, and I'll say it 100 times more. And I really love the way the skin bunches up at the base of the neck there as the creature cranes its head upwards. It's just such a natural look that they have given this model. And then we come back up to that beautifully sculpted head and all the detail therein. Taking a look at the feet here, as you can see, Papo have splayed out the toes on the back right foot there, which really gives this model a sense of weight. Capturing a sense of weight in a toy is very difficult to do, but since Papo sculpt their feet in such a way, it gives it this really believable sense that this thing has some meat to it. Moving up the leg, you can see the lovely musculature in the flexing calf and thigh, very well defined there. This is one Iguanodon that did not skip on leg day, and that's just all beautiful stuff. The other foot is in a lifted upright position. The calf, once again, very well sculpted. The thigh is flexing as it propels the foot forward. Again, all just such beautiful, beautiful sculpting work on this Iguanodon figure. And then again, on the front foot, we've got that toes splayed out, taking the weight effect. I know it's kind of hard to see with my fuzzy blanket, but it is there. And then the famous Iguanodon thumb spike has been addressed here, and it looks absolutely fantastic. And I love the musculature in the forearms, the pecs, and the way that the skin gathers down around the base of the neck, how gravity works on that. And then the gullet region with the wrinkles and folds, all of that is just working for me. If we move along the underbelly, you can see all of the other details that Papo have crammed in. They don't even leave this place unattended to. They've got scales of varying shapes and sizes. The bottom of the foot has texture to it. You can see in the bottom right thigh there the Papo logo, and then all of that scaling continues all the way up to underneath the head. Let's talk about the pose. The pose we've kind of touched on while talking about the feet and everything, but this Iguanodon is in a slight walking pose with its left arm and leg lifted upwards and its right arm and leg bracing it. A lot of people have said that it looks like it's dancing. Something about it is just kind of awkward. It doesn't bother me. I personally feel like this pose could work for a wide variety of things. I think it's got a look that it could look like it's taking a tentative step forward, maybe calling out to a herd mate, grazing off of a low-lying tree, squaring off against a predator. I mean, it's really just anything that you want it to be, and that's why I love this pose. I think it's great for dioramas. As far as the paint scheme goes, it's nothing too eye-catching, just mostly tans and blues and maybe a little bit of greens in there, but the way that it is applied is just so gorgeous, and I love the patterning on the tail and how it gradiates from one color to the next in such a naturalistic way. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I cannot give this enough praise for its paint scheme. As far as the overall size of this model goes, it is a pretty sizable Iguanodon. If we measure from the front all the way to the back of the tail, you're looking at right around 9 inches, and then from the base all the way to the highest point, you're looking at right around 4 inches off the ground. Yeah, right about just under 4 inches, which is about 10 centimeters, I think. I could have read that wrong. It's hard to read that through my little camera lens, so give me some slack here. For size comparison, we're going to bring in the Papo Brown Velociraptor, mostly because if you own any Papo figure, I think it's going to be the Raptor since it's been done so much. So I think this is a really good one to give people some idea of the size that they can expect out of this Iguanodon since it's been done so many times. Odds are someone has at least one of the versions in their collection. Next up, we're going to bring in the Papo Carnotaurus. Unfortunately, if you're going for a Disney dinosaur kind of feel like I did with the opening there, this might be a bit of a disappointment because this Carnotaurus is so small. However, I do think this is more accurate to the real-life proportions. I know they beefed up that Carnotaurus for Disney's Dinosaur, but this one feels a little more appropriately sized. Next up, we're going to go ahead and bring in the recently reviewed, also new for 2018, Papo Quetzalcoatlus, and as you can see, these two are pretty similar in terms of their size. The Iguanodon stands a little taller than the Quetzal and is a little longer, but the Quetzal puts up a good fight in terms of the overall proportion of these two figures. And then finally, for a quick size comparison, we're going to go ahead and bring in the Safari Limited Iguanodon. You saw this next to him in the opening. I think these two look really good together. Obviously, I think maybe it's just me and my nostalgia for Disney, but I think these two make a great Aladar and Nira. I don't know if it's the coloration or what, but yes, I think these two look absolutely fantastic. The Papo Iguanodon is the spitting image of Aladar, save for the mouth region where they gave him a beak instead of lips. So yes, I think these two work really well together for any Disney dinosaur fans out there. Well, everyone, that is going to do it for our look at the new for 2018 Papo Iguanodon. Overall, this is a fantastic figure. It might be my favorite from this year. In terms, I mean, all of you know I love the Therizinosaurus. All of you know I love the Quetzalcoatlus, but this one, its pose, its paint scheme, all of it, the detail, it's just absolutely gorgeous. My only grievance with this model is the fact that they went ahead and did that hinge jaw thing, and they did so in such an unappealing way that kind of messes up the look of the rest of the head. If they had done this with just the flat out open mouth, I think it would be my favorite for 2018, like hands down. As always, I would love to hear what you guys think of this model. Do you own it yet? Are you going to pick it up? Which was your favorite from Papo of 2018? What are you hoping for 2019? Because that is coming up very quick here. And do you agree with me on all of my points that I've made? Do you love this model like I do? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments section below. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in today. It really means the world to me. And if you feel we earned it, don't be afraid to let us know that we did a good job by hitting that like button. And don't forget to subscribe on the way out if you feel like you want to hear from us again down the road. Plenty more reviews coming your way, so stay tuned. Thanks again, and that's going to do it for us. Killer Shrew Fan, out.